What is it with Stuart McDonald prices being higher than the rest? Well, I thought about it and I think I figured out at least 2 good reasons why. So stick around and find out. Why does Stuart McDonald cost so much? They usually cost more than their competitors. They sell similar-ish things in many categories, and I want to explore why that is. I'm not sponsored to say any of this, by the way. It's just I thought it'd be an interesting video to think about and make, and hopefully you will too. So once you hear the reasons that I've thought of, you be able to understand why the prices are what they are and learn to, what's the word? I don't know, come to an agreement with yourself about paying the prices that we do at Stuart McDonald. That might not make sense right now, but I think at the end it will. So just, trust me, stick around. I'm going to talk about the most important thing at the end, of course, because it's, YouTube. The first reason is because Stuart McDonald have been doing and giving us the watchers and luthiers, repairers, be it professionals like me or, weekend warrior types. They've been giving us free education for decades. Since the 80s, I think, Dan Erlewine was doing his VHS things, tutorials, which you had to pay for, but back then they even gave out free tips and tricks in their catalogue, Trade Secrets, I think it was. And they've continued that into the 21st century with YouTube. I just checked on YouTube and they've got 480 videos, and they range from, quick little shorts. Actually, shorts wouldn't be included in that number, but short little tips and tricks to really extended, in-depth things on how to, glue on braces and stuff. Really good 10-minute demonstrations that Dan Erlewine or Eric Coleman, Gene Imbody, or Tomo Fujita, who's a guitar professor at Berkeley, demonstrates for us, as well as many other guest appearances by heaps of other professionals. And there's also a new bass setup video with Evan Gluck, which goes for about 40 minutes. That's a fantastic video. And that all takes time and money. One of actually the longest video is a video by Michael Bashkin, and it's titled How to Build a Guitar from Scratch, something like that. And that goes for an hour and 50 minutes. If you don't know Michael Bashkin, he is a world-class luthier. He's kind of one of those guys that you hear him say something and if it goes against what you thought, you start doing it that way. He's one of those guys. He just knows what he's talking about from empirical evidence, i.e. he's done it. So with that 150-minute video of Michael Bashkin building a guitar, one of his own guitars from scratch, you are learning so much. And the production value on that was pretty extraordinary. I asked Michael, who's a friend of mine, I said, how long did that take? And he said, it was about 30 days with 2 people. So I don't know what the cost was of the production, but Stuart McDonald were paying 2 people for a month, plus all the rentals of the cameras, lighting, microphones, plus travel back from Colorado to Ohio, where Stewmac is. And after that, as post-production is editing. So editing footage down to a usable 2 hours or an hour and 50 minutes. They must have had so much footage, I can't even begin to think of it. It's just doing like a, 10, 15-minute video like this. I usually shoot, an hour's worth of takes and screw-ups and stuff like that. If you haven't done it, you don't understand how hard editing is or how troublesome it is to weed through all the bad takes and stuff. Future Beau here. It's about 1 week in the future since the footage you've been watching was shot. Spoilers, the world is still weird, but, that's how it is. However, I did find out exactly how much the Michael Bashkin video cost and a few other details. So I was speaking to Brock Poling, who's the vice president of marketing at Stuart McDonald, and he gave me some numbers. So it was a crew of 2 people. And those 2 people had to travel back and forth 5 times from New York and Ohio for a total of 30 working days, filming days at Colorado, Michael Bashkin's studio. And that includes food, travel, rental of equipment, the cameras, the lighting, the microphones, everything else. There was 100 hours shot. So the post-production, the editing of the footage, the colorization, all that sort of thing, took a full 3 months. So I'm not allowed to tell you, like I said, what the exact number is, but there is a workaround. I asked ChatGPT how much a 30-day professional video production would cost, and that gave actually a really good rundown of the costs involved. And it gave me 3 different prices, low, medium, and high. And the medium costs were $70,000 to $120,000. Wonder why I'm mentioning that. But Brock did allow me to tell you that that's within the ballpark. And by within, I mean 70,000, 120,000. Somewhere in there. So almost 2 hours of world-class, free Luthier education. Not so free. By the way, like and subscribe. So that they had a 30-day filming schedule is pretty extraordinary. We get that knowledge for free. And that brings me to something else, which is more of a metaphysical problem in the world, which is, as people living in 2024, we don't value knowledge as highly as we used to, because with YouTube, we have access to the highest possible knowledge taught by the highest, most qualified people for free. When's that been in the past? So that is a factor in the Stuart McDonald umbrella cost. You might not like it. You might think that should be for free. But it's kind of like somebody complaining about paying tax on roads when they don't drive, but their grandkids drive or something like that. It's just use your head. The more we do that, the better we will be. So that's the kind of multimedia video articles aspect of the umbrella reason why I think Stuart McDonald prices are higher. And I think that's a valid one, and one that's probably overlooked by everyone, including me, before I started thinking about it for this video. So that brings me to the second major point that I wanted to talk about with the Stewmac pricing. And if you can think of other sort of major reasons or themes why the prices might be higher, then leave a comment and tell me. I'd be interested. Don't leave stupid complaining comments. I don't want to hear it. Life's too short and the internet's already horrible. Just say something good if you can. So the major reason why Stuart McDonald have the prices that they do, I think, is this. It's what they call Stewmac lifetime promise, and I'll deal with a specific issue that I had in a second, but the website says the lifetime promise. We stand behind our products, built to last a lifetime. The major blurb is, our promise to you is simple and uncomplicated. If any of our products ever break, wear out, or fail to exceed your every expectation, simply return it for a replacement. Other places have something similar. Like if you buy something on Amazon and it breaks, then you can return it. And that's okay. And if you don't like it, you can return it too. The important part in that is wear out. If any of our products ever break or wear out, that's really an important issue, because if you buy a $180 or whatever it costs diamond file and it wears out, you can get it replaced. It's not broken. It's not that you didn't like it. It's just that it wore out, like a piece of metal wearing out. That's a very different thing to what you find elsewhere. As far as I know, the lifetime promise is on everything that Stewmac sell. Obviously not masking tape, but something like a metal tool is something that shouldn't really wear out, but if you use it enough, it will. So if it's a nut file, it's going to wear out eventually, and Stewmac will replace it. So that brings me to something that happened to me, which I was kind of the catalyst for me making this video. This is the Stewmac Deluxe Fret Tang Nipper. And you may notice something if I do this. I was clipping off a tang off a nickel silver fret wire, and this thing friggin' broke on me. It just snapped in two, and I thought, that's not something you see every day. Chunky bit of metal that costs, I think it's like 70 bucks for this. So I called up Stewmac and they said, send me a photo, and I did. And then before I knew it, there was a new one in the mail, and they sent me the tracking number, and that is this, which I haven't opened yet. It was just such a painless thing that it just inspired me to make this video and think about the reasons why Stewmac are so expensive. And they're not so expensive, they're like, just a little bit more. But this is the reason, the major reason why, because if something happens in your lifetime, in your career, you can just call them up and say, this tool broke, and then they'll send you a brand new one. So there's the new one. So that's a pretty extraordinary thing, I think, because I bought this. I did a video on this thing ages ago. I can't remember when. Let me check. So I just checked my own YouTube, and I presume I did this video, a week or something after I got these, but that was 3 years ago. So I've had these for 3 years. If you bought this off Amazon, you wouldn't be able to return it. If this happened, if I had bought this 20 years ago, not that it existed then, but if I did, they would replace it because that's the lifetime promise. And that is a pretty amazing thing, I think. And it really does, for me, it just, it all makes sense why Stewmac have prices that are slightly elevated. If anyone wants this one, I'll sell it to you for $5. But that's the reason why I buy stuff from Stewmac, because I just know that over my career that it's a good investment. Anything that goes wrong with a solid metal tool like this will be replaced like this. I don't mind spending good money on a good tool with a good policy behind it for life. That's just, I think, a good gamble. It's not even a gamble. I don't know. What's the opposite of a gamble? A sure thing? Yeah. A sure thing, like me in college. So that's what I wanted to say. I think those two elements, the free education and the education that they do being so high and such good quality, which hopefully you get on my channel, subscribe, by the way, and also the lifetime promise thing that they call lifetime promise. It just means that if you buy a $700 or $800 buffing machine from them, then it's going to be guaranteed to be replaced for life if something goes wrong with it. If the 1-inch metal axle snaps or something, I don't know what can happen to buffers. Could turn into a rocket and fly away. You'd probably get a replacement for that too. So I hope with those two elements now laid out, the free education and that the education is such high quality from some of the best people in the industry, and that they have this lifetime promise guarantee, which they don't like to use the word guarantee, but it's effectively the same thing, that their elevated prices make sense more. They do to me, just because of those two things. Maybe because I know how painful it is to replace an expensive tool and how nice it is to get that expensive tool just replaced 3 years later. And because I make... you be the judge, but hopefully you think it's high quality content, and how much I know about how long it takes to film just even the simplest things. That's hard, but also having the knowledge to film yourself talking about such things, that's very, very hard earned. And that really is one of the probably the most underappreciated thing in the world, I think, in 2024. The quality of content, it's just, we're all scrolling really quickly and it just goes over our heads or through our heads, and we don't really take a second to understand how phenomenal something we just heard was, and it's taken the person who said it 80 years to develop that system of thought, that's what you're getting with Dan Erlewine. It's what you're getting with Evan Gluck, with Michael Bashkin, hopefully with me. I've been doing it 20 years. So just keep that in mind. So leave a comment, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I hope you appreciated this. I hope it inspired some thoughts and nice ideas to write down. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I don't know if I'm right. I think I'm have told you two things that are important and make sense. They make sense to me. And like I said, I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm just was inspired when this thing happened to me. So, cheers, big ears. See you next time. Bye.